let's be frank, DEI is a very highly charged ideological doctrine.
Danielle Smith, Alberta will continue being a place where free speech is defended. So they're passing legislation, a law there. They're calling it the Jordan Peterson law. And you'll remember he went through that long inquisition from the Ontario College of Pschologists for wrongthink. Let's take a look at what Danielle Smith says.
Today, we are introducing Bill 13, the Regulated Professions Neutrality Act. This is common sense legislation that would recognize that everyone should have the right to express their personal views freely. No professional should fear losing their license, their reputation, or their livelihood because of a personal opinion, a social media post, an interview, or open dialogue outside of working hours. These changes come after one of the most notable cases of professional regulators punishing an individual for comments made outside of a professional setting, and that is Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson was sanctioned and ordered to undertake a so-called re-education program in order to maintain his credentials for statements he had made outside of a clinical psychology setting. Similar notable cases have involved nurses, doctors, and teachers that have been punished, sanctioned.
Well, there's Amy Ham in British Columbia, who was put through a years-long inquisition as well,
or have had their licenses threatened for comments that they have made on social media, at protests, or even at meetings of local city councils. We looked at these cases and asked an important question. Are regulators still focused on public safety and professional competence, or are some of them overstepping to enforce ideological conformity and to silence public discourse? The bill aims to protect expressive off-duty conduct. It draws a clear distinction that regulators are responsible for competence and ethics, not policing beliefs or personal expression that has no bearing on a person's ability to do their professional practice. No one cherishes their freedoms like Albertans do. This is a sentiment that we hear often and something that our government takes seriously. Our aim is to uphold professionals' rights and freedoms while continuing to protect the public interest so that both public confidence and professional integrity are maintained. We want to ensure that professional regulatory bodies keep their focus on areas within their scope, on members' actions that affect their professional competence and ethics, because everyone has the right to express themselves and to share their views and to have their voice heard in our society.
So this is just so fortifying, right? Just to have a Canadian politician stand up and champion sanity so forthrightly, just without equivocation. It is just, it's like cathartic, it's edifying, it's just everything good. Everything good, actually, about what Canada used to be. And of course, leftists will immediately go into fetal position and start shaking and crying and screeching when they hear this. It's so terrifying for them because they think that freedom is fascism or something. I don't know. It's hard to even understand what they mean anymore. But this is hope. Right now, this is hope in Canada. Right? I really hope that Pierre Poilievre is listening to her and draws further strength from this, and in a way is almost kind of shamed in a sense that, I think I'd like Pierre Poilievre. I intend to vote for Pierre Poilievre the next opportunity I get. I think he's been more forthright since that election, and I think he's been much better, actually. But this is really where it's at, This is really where it's at. You can't equivocate. You can't have like some implicit apology just for talking sanity, right? No, it's just she is just comfortable with reality, and you're just going to have to accept it. That's her approach. That's the right approach. Limit professional regulatory bodies from disciplining professionals for expressive off-duty conduct. Yes, there we go. Except in specific circumstances such as threats of physical violence or a criminal conviction. Okay. Restrict mandatory training unrelated to competence or ethics, such as diversity, equity, and inclusion training. So DEI, which is madness, it is divisive and unfair, deeply unfair, and immoral. Restrict mandatory training unrelated to competence or ethics. I hope by restrict it means you can't do it. Create principles of neutrality that prohibit professional regulatory bodies from assigning value, blame, or different treatment to individuals based on personally held views or political beliefs. Right out the window. It's got to go straight into the trash. Now, it's going to be very difficult to actually enforce this because the institutions, including in Alberta, which is the most conservative province in Canada, but even in Alberta, the institutions are just plagued with the tendrils of this, Marxist, woke, DEI, radical progressivism. So it's going to be difficult. But look, she's pretty strong, and I wouldn't count her out on this. It's just this is what we've wanted. This is what we've wanted. The sane people in Canada have wanted this. Good. Here, Sean Amato posted this. Alberta's premier was asked Thursday what role, if any, she sees for DEI in society. Well, let's take a look.
Let's be frank, DEI is a very highly charged ideological doctrine that teaches a particular perspective about colonialism and white settlement. And you have to ask the question, what are we trying to get to with that? Are we trying to get to a point where we have fairness in hiring and a diversity of people who are hired into positions, or are we trying to socially engineer some kind of narrative? So I think that it's pretty clear that there's a difference between those two things, and we certainly support merit-based hiring and making sure that we're removing any barriers. Let's be frank, DEI.
Yeah, the goal is the destruction of the old to make room for the new. And what is the new? The new is a Marxist-Leninist country and nothing less, because every single person who pushes this stuff is a Marxist, is sympathetic to Marxism at least, even if they don't know why they believe the things that they do. It is fundamentally Marxist. It's oppressed and oppressor. Everything's a zero-sum game. That's the ultimate goal. Even if, the useful idiots don't know that. That's what they're working towards. They're working towards bread lines. All right. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.